Hey everybody, how's it going? Danny Soleil here, aka Travel Man Dan, aka Reading Man Dan, and welcome to day number 74 of my 75 hard journey. Oh baby, one more. Wow. Here we are, folks. Here we are. Guys, I'm making YouTube videos for this 75 hard journey so that I can go back and look at where I went wrong. Hopefully I can make it one more day, or maybe just to go back and look at my personal legacy, something that means a lot to myself as an artist, as a creator here on YouTube. I'm going to keep doing this for my entire life, and I always say to myself and to my friends, I say, what would be really cool is if I had a bunch of videos from like 20 years ago or 15 years ago or 10 years ago or 40 years ago, and you will be able to watch your life as it unfolds. Just something personal for yourself. Maybe if I ever have kids one day, I can show them. But yeah, here I am, 74 days. But mostly I'm making this videos each and every day to go ahead and inspire one single person, just as I've been inspired. So I'm here, guys. I'm doing it. I'm ready to close it out strong. But before we do, I want to go ahead and finish the book properly. We are reading 75 Hard, The Tactical Guide to Win the War with Yourself from the creator Andy Frisella. And we are at the last stages where he's talking about the questions, frequently asked questions. Yesterday we read 3 questions. Now I want to read the other 3, so let's hop right into it. I've struggled with negativity my whole life. What if I'm legitimately afraid that I'm going to lose the mental battle in my head? I don't care who you are, you're going to be more than tempted to bitch out in the early stages. Don't beat yourself up about that mental battle. It's normal. Press on. The more momentum you build, the less you'll deal with that. Like I just wrote in an earlier question, James the Iron Cowboy told me that his body just adapted. Your mind will begin to adapt too. Just trust me. Let me just also take some time here in the FAQ to share some thoughts on how to fight the battle in your mind. Here are some things you should know. When the typical person starts to work towards accomplishing a big goal, the immediate temptation is to think about what they have to give up. That's why they fail. Here's what I mean. When they go on a diet, they start fixating on the fact that they'll have to give up pizza. It constantly runs through their mind. Pizza. Then what happens? I know what you mean, because I cannot wait to eat pizza. All right, I think my first big cheat is probably going to be a juicy cheeseburger, right? A big hamburger followed up with salads and fruits. They end up eating pizza. It's like that for everybody who starts out trying to crush a big goal, but focuses on the cost of accomplishing their goal. The woman who wants to become an elite athlete level swimmer, but constantly thinks about how cold the water is. The entrepreneur who wants to save money to reinvest in his business, but obsesses about how he has to slash his budget and live at a friend's house. The man who wants a better relationship with his wife, but always thinks about the Friday nights he's given up with his buddies. Every one of those efforts is almost guaranteed to fail. Mentally tough people think entirely different. They don't focus their thoughts on what they have to give up. They focus their thoughts on what they're going to gain. They focus on their desired outcome. So the woman competing to be an elite level swimmer thinks about how good it will feel to have the Olympic gold medal draped around her neck. The entrepreneur thinks about how awesome it will be to sit in his office in his new state-of-the-art headquarters. The man who wants to be in a better relationship with his wife thinks about growing old together after sharing a life of happiness and adventure. Pretty cool. Those people will succeed. Mentally tough people, the people who power through to crush absolutely any goal, take control of their thoughts and focus them on the desired outcome. They focus their thoughts on what they want and they power through. They succeed. Why? It's just the law of the universe, a fact of science, and something I've learned again and again in my own experience. As I mentioned earlier, my friend Ryan Hardwick is a professional race car driver. Since I love cars, I've joined him on the racetrack a number of times to learn what it takes to race on that level. One of the things I've learned is that when you are inches from other cars, it can be insanely stressful. You have to make sure you don't bump into another racer, and you have to make it absolutely sure you don't run into the wall. When less skilled drivers start veering toward the wall, they make a critical mistake. In that stressful moment, their focus turns and they look at the wall. Guess what happens? Always they slam into it and result in a wreck. They were looking at the wall, so completely against their intent, their body moved to turn into it. Experienced drivers know better. If they sense they are veering toward the wall, they double down, they keep their focus on the track, dead center. When they do that, they are able to make the correction and keep driving hard. They were looking at the track, so their body reacted to keep them on the track. This is a real life example of the unbreakable rule of mental toughness and success. Your actions follow your focus. All right, take that down. Your actions follow your focus. Focus on what you have to give up, and you'll give up. Focus on what you'll gain, and you'll gain your goal. You don't have to understand it to believe it. It's just how the brain and life works, period. So, how do you do it? I'll give you 3 steps. First, you have to reassert the place of authority in your own mind. That means that when you catch yourself in mid-thought thinking, oh man, I really want a pizza, you immediately say, wait, stop. What am I saying? I know exactly what you're talking about, because at work, they eat a lot of candy. They eat a lot of peanut butter cups. And around Easter time, there was a giant jug of peanut butter cups sitting in what we call the war room. And every day I'd walk past those peanut butter cups 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, whatever max amount of times. And they were great. They had the foil wrappers that were pink and yellow and Eastery color. And all I wanted to do was dive into those. But I kept thinking to myself, you know what, Danny? Talk yourself out. What are you doing? You'll break this 75 hard. Don't do that to yourself. Don't put yourself in that anguish. Because I've always said that the fear of not trying, or of the fear of going through something that's hard, is equally, if not less, than failing to even try and do that. So hope that makes sense. That right there is my mom. I'll have to call her back. But let's continue on reading. So, yeah. Either way, they're both going to suck. So don't let yourself down, is basically the moral of that story. All right. I'm not going to let myself talk like that. I'm not going to take conscious control and talk to myself and to myself. You need to realize that you're not the audience in your own head. You're not there just to sit back, passively listen to the conversation going on between your ears. You need to say, I'm the drill instructor. Do what I say and I'll kick your ass, and then deliver the proper message. At that point, you'll tell yourself, I can't wait until the fittest guy on my block and all the other dads look at the ground when I go by. Screw you, pizza, and the bitch voice. That's when you'll succeed. But you have to make a conscious decision. You have to take control. You have to reassert the place of authority in your own mind. Number 2. Secondly, you have to instantly autocorrect the negative thoughts in your brain. Successful people do that. They take hold of the negative thought running through their head and they reword it and rephrase it so it motivates them to act and succeed. In Super Bowl L1, all right, when the Patriots were down by 21 points, Tom Brady didn't let himself think, we're in such a huge hole. We're going down by 21 points. I don't think we can do this. The Falcons are too much. No. He said, this is great. We're going to win this game by mounting the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. That's how mentally tough people do it. They might have a thought that this is initially negative. It's almost impossible not to. However, they immediately autocorrect into something positive. Yeah, man, that's something that I learned from the law of attraction. And, I try to do it each and every day when I start thinking of negative thoughts. I just autocorrect it. Just, no, this is going to be awesome. What are we talking about? All right, here we go. Thirdly, and people might say, but trust your instinct, right? Yes, I do believe in your instinct as well. It's a very powerful thing. But sometimes you got to decipher whether or not your bitch voice is taking over your instinct. So, and vice versa. All right, here we go. Thirdly, you have to default to what I call your personal sales script. They rehearse it, they repeat it again and again. What do I mean by that? Well, we don't do this at my companies. The reality is that a lot of companies use a sales script. That means they have a presentation that's fully written out and have answers prepared for specific questions a customer might have. That's pretty old school and can be very cheesy and impersonal, but the reality is it can also be very effective. Sorry, guys. My mom's getting back to me as I'm getting ready to go to Costa Rica. What does it have to do with mental toughness? My mom said, "Hey, just wanted to wish you a good and safe flight tomorrow. I love you. Be careful, and congrats on your 75 days. That's friggin' awesome, Ma." All right, I'll give her a call after the video. Let's keep it going. Sometimes you have to use a sales script on yourself. If you want to accomplish huge goals, you've got to be able to sell yourself on the idea, and you have to be able to cast a vision to yourself. So when you take control of the conversation in your head, you need to be ready to pound the points of your personal sales script in your head, which means you have to have given them some real thought. These points include the vision you have for your life. Got it. The way you have determined, without a doubt, things are going to go for you. Oh, I hope so. Your goals for yourself that will absolutely not compromise. And otherwise, this is who I am. This is my plan. There is no discussion. Period. That's the personal sales script you need to default to. That's the pitch you have to sell yourself. That's it. Those are the 3 steps. Bottom line, people who are successfully power through all obstacles and defeat all enemies are men and women who learn to focus. Focus, guys, keeps coming up, right? On the desired outcome. They make it their goal to focus on what they want, and they take control of the thoughts they think and words they will use in order to make that happen. Like I said, those who focus on what they have to give up, give up. Those who focus on what they want to gain, gain their goal. Number 5, I'm religious. I go to church every day. Does no alcohol rule apply to taking communion? No, of course not. I understand that Catholics and Lutherans especially take communion every week, which includes a small amount of wine. I would never tell you to go against your spiritual beliefs. Number 6. What if I encounter a stretch of days where I am really, really struggling? And I can tell you right now, you're definitely going to have those stretch of days. Let's see what Andy Priscilla says. That's a great sign. Seriously, you shouldn't worry about how badly you're going to struggle. You should take pride in it and love it. This is something you need to understand clearly and take to heart. Average people fear struggle. Yeah. They try to avoid it. They hide it. They are ashamed of it. However, successful people understand that struggle is part of the success recipe. In fact, it is the first ingredient of success. It's essential. It's the engine that drives improvement and achievement. For starters, struggle is the schoolmaster of success. It's how we learn what we need to do to improve. If you try to skip over the process and pass on the struggle, you are short-circuiting your ability to learn what you need to learn to be your best. And that's going to limit you. Everybody out there who has become hugely successful, who has made massive amounts of wealth. I'm talking about the people you looked up to, the people you admire, the people you want to emulate, your role models. Every one of them has struggled. Every one of them. That's why they are who they are, and they have done what they've done. They're graduates of the School of Hard Knocks, and by struggling, they earned their PhD in domination. So when you struggle, be proud of it. Go through it with your head held high, learning your lessons with a big smile on your face, and know that sooner or later, people are going to be admiring you, wanting to hear from you, and wanting to meet you. That's because of your struggle. Your struggle is extremely valuable to your success. Don't run from it. Run to it. The biggest reason struggle is extremely valuable is because by working through it, that you're going to become confident. I can tell you that 100% true because I've experienced that in my own life. When things get really hard for me, when I struggle, when it's in my fitness journey or building my businesses, I have learned to take pride in my struggle. When things get hard, I don't look at it as, oh, dude, things are so hard. That's not how I think about it. The whole process of powering through struggle has taught me to reframe my thoughts and see it from a different perspective. You guys know I love the perspective. You know I love that word. You know I love that. So I love that he says that. Now, I say to myself, life is really hard right now. You're struggling. But here's the thing. Right now is when everyone else quits. Okay? And that's back to what I was saying before, is it's implemented in my life. You know, what's the difference of you know, going and trying something that you struggle through, and it takes years to get to sometimes. I mean, centuries, let's say 10, 20 years, it might take you to get to something. What's the difference of that or having the regret for the entire life, okay, and walking away and living with that regret? both are going to be hard. I would say that the regret is probably weighs down on you more, that you walked away from the thing that you really wanted to try, that you backed down from the struggle. Push on through, folks. Push on through. This is a perfect challenge for you guys to do that. All right, here we go. Right now is when everyone else is going to fall behind. Right now is when everyone else decides to do something that's easier or faster, is not as hard. But you are not going to do that. You are going to push on through. And guess what? That's exactly what I do. And you know what happens? I usually win at everything. I take huge pride in that. I walk around with a huge, invincible, cocky swagger. The kind of swagger that you can only have if you go through the struggle and come out on top. People who have an easy life, people who never do hard things, which is almost everyone you know, will absolutely never have this kind of confidence. So when your struggle comes, don't fear it. Don't try to avoid it. Don't hide from it or be ashamed of it. Take pride in it. Love it. And at the end of the day, all of us that want our lives to be one hell of a story. If there's no struggle in your life, nobody's going to care about your story. Nobody's going to care what you did or how you did it. It's a struggle that makes our life compelling. It's a struggle that keeps people's attention and admiration. There's not one great movie that has ever been made without a tremendous amount of struggle at the heart of the plot. I challenge you, find one. There isn't a single one out there. Struggle is the most attention-grabbing aspect of humanity, and it's what makes a good book or movie so captivating, entertaining, and inspiring. We are, by our nature, interested in hearing about other people powered through struggle and overcame their challenges to succeed. Because it tells us we can do the same thing. So, if you want that kind of life story that has a crazy kind of energy to it, an energy that attracts people's attention and draws them to you because you're the center of the story, and they see that you are a super confident, deep, and amazing human being who has gone through the fire and come out like a titan, then, like I said, don't fear or avoid or be ashamed of struggle. Embrace it, learn from it, be proud of it, and love it. Okay. Whew. Man, I'm getting pumped up. Just reading this, guys. Getting pumped up. Lots to digest in there. If you ever get a chance, go back and listen to this again. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and find all the chapters where I read the book, and I'm going to make like a separate playlist. But tomorrow I'm going to hop on. I'm just going to say, congrats to me. Pat myself on the back for 75 days and then get on with it. And then I'll go ahead and make a video when I get back from Costa Rica. I'm leaving very early in the morning. So, yeah, excited about that. Really fun. Get to knock another country off. And be sure to go ahead and finish the 75 hard strong. So, those of you that have watched me throughout this entire series, those of you that encouraged me and supported me and, just kept me motivated, I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Guys, I know there's people out there watching who are starting to figure this thing out. And if that's you and you're inspired and you're doing it, please let me know. I hope that I've inspired at least one single person. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope you found some value in it. I hope you found it entertaining. I'll be back doing travel, food, reading Mandan videos, and, sprinkling back in some acting. So thank you so much, each and every one of you guys. That's going to do it for today. I appreciate you watching. I'm Danny Saleh, a.k.a. Travel Mandan, a.k.a. Reading Mandan. And remember, it's a big world out there. Make sure you see every bit of it.